What's going on, everyone? Strange here, and welcome back to a Destiny 2 video. This one's going to be a little bit different. I'm doing a bit of a Destiny 2 Guardian specific power scale of the current time. I do have plan on doing one based on like the past with its lore, but this one is going to be based on Guardians who are either alive or have just recently died in the final shape. And it is going to include lore and their feats. It's not just going to be in-game stuff. So, if you have some lore knowledge, you might see where this is going. If you disagree with any of these, please let me know in the comments. I'm sure that some people have different opinions, but for the sake of this right here, this is our Guardian, and it's going to be the only one in S tier. No one else really compares to us. We are like the greatest Guardians to ever live, so no one else will be in S tier. So we're just going to go down the line. I got two versions of certain characters based on certain things that have happened. Like I have pre Season of the Dawn Saint 14, and I have Saint 14 after Season of the Dawn from when we saved him. I've got Zavala. This is pre the final shape when he had the light. This is Zavala post the final shape after he lost the light and is using stasis. This is we have Osiris, which is pre Lightfall when he was still a Sun Singer. Well, he's not technically just a Sun Singer, but it was his most used one when he still had the light. And then we also have Osiris when he is now a Strand user and has lost his Guardian. I've got two Cades on here. One is pre the final shape when he was alive / dead, so I guess pre Forsaken. And then we have one where he is alive in the final shape. I believe that. Oh, and then I also have two versions of Eris Morn. I have Eris just being Eris, both Guardian and Lightless. And then I also have Eris as the God of Vengeance, or the Hive God of Vengeance. So it's because it's a different version of her. We only saw it very slightly, but it is a stronger version than her regular self. So I'm gonna include it. I'm having E be like the F tier or bottom tier just because I wanted to keep it alphabetical. And yeah, let's go from there. So we're gonna start with Saint 14. This is actually, let's start with Saint 14 before we saved him in Season of the Dawn. I'm gonna put him as C tier just because I kind of have A tier in my head reserved for about two characters right now. And I believe, going to the next one, I believe the current Saint 14 we have is stronger than the Saint 14 we had. Obviously, Saint 14, before we saved him, he was incredibly strong. He took out multiple Fallen Cows. We all know the story about how he bashed in a Fallen Cow's skull in with just his head. Hence why there's a dent on the helmet of Saint 14 and the exotic helmet of Saint 14. And then this one obviously is just stronger. I mean, I know it was for the game's sake, but in the Excision mission, obviously he holds a bubble for an incredibly long amount of time, which is difficult to do. He also has just developed more as a guardian with his light, so he's obviously going to be stronger than the version of him that died. So, I mean, he has to go above his old self. This version of Saint 14, by the way, is tough. I love it. I also love the current version. Don't get me wrong. I just miss when Saint 14 was just, I'm going to kill the Fallen. That part was tough. But obviously, that's not a thing anymore because the Fallen are kind of our allies, half. Next up, we have Zavala. This is pre-final shape, so he has the light. And I'm going to put him above Saint 14 because, as far as we know, Saint 14 might only be able to use Void. I don't remember in the lore of him being mentioned that he can use other subclasses. Obviously, I don't know if people know this. Guardians aren't bound to just a certain subclass. They can use all of them. Now, some people do say that like Titans can use Warlock stuff or Hunters can use Titan stuff. I'm not entirely sure how true that is, nor do I actually like that. I would prefer, obviously this might be a question that Bife would probably know, but I would prefer if they could just use the subclass as part of their actual class. Like Titan can use Striker, Hammer, but they can't use like Dawn. like Dawnblade or Tether. I would prefer it like that. But as far as we know, Saint has not used anything other than Sentinel. You know, he's used Sentinel Shield and he's used Bubble, so we know that for sure. But there's nothing in the lore that says that he uses anything else. Whereas Zavala, we have seen a cinematic of him using Striker, and we also have him using Bubble. So I mean, he's already stronger than Saint in that regard. He's also, these two are both Vanguards, but I think just the fact that Zavala is able to use more than one type of subclass kind of puts him above Saint 14 just a little bit. I think Saint 14 might have better feats strength-wise than Zavala does, but unfortunately the ability to use two different subclasses just is much stronger than being able to just use Void. No, I mean, he could have a better understanding of Void, but I think it's just tough to not put Zavala above him right now. And then for this version of Zavala, I'm going to put him at D, mainly because whoever I have someone I'm going to put on E, and that's just because we have A, no feats, and B, I'm not sure if they're even a fighter. And I don't think it's fair to put Zavala down there, because even though he doesn't have a ghost, he does have stasis. And that is still strong. No, it's not like he's completely useless. It's not like he can't fight. He has an ability to fight still. He has a darkness. So it does not make him horrible. I don't think that puts him in the same tier as Saint 14 before he died, because he is still mortal. He still has his ghost. So it's very, very tough to even put Zavala in the C tier with pre-death Saint 14. Ikora, this is one of the characters that I want to put in A. And if you disagree with this, I'm sorry, you don't know ball. Okay? In the lore, she was like the greatest Crucible player ever, first off. She like just ran through Crucible. Then there's also the feat that she popped multiple Noble Bombs in a row during the Red War. Now, people can say that, oh, that's just game mechanics, but the game is canon. The game is the story. There's not like, oh, this is just in the game. No, it's canon. So she has thrown multiple supers like that. I'm pretty sure she has also access to the other subclasses based in the lore. Don't hold me to that. I'm not 100% sure. But Ikora is 100% A tier, and there's no doubt about that. This, we're going to do pre-Lightfall Osiris. And I am going to put him, I'm going to put him above our current Saint 14, just because his feats during Twilight Gap were like gigantic. I mean, people literally thought that he was in multiple places at once because of the infinite, or like copies of him from the Infinite Forest. So it's kind of hard to not put him up there. He's a legendary warlock, probably more legendary than Ikora, and I would actually like to put him up there, but he just doesn't have a lot of combative feats. He's kind of more of a mind, intellectual feats, I guess you could say, whereas Ikora has both her intellect, and she also has a lot more combative skills. So it's kind of difficult to put him above both Zavala with access to multiple subclasses, and it's also difficult to put him up with Ikora. Lightless / Strand Osiris is gonna go in D tier. Same reason as Zavala. Doesn't have his ghost. He can't be resurrected, and he knows Strand. So he's not useless. And in terms of lore, Strand is actually incredibly powerful. So I'm actually gonna put him above Zavala for the fact that it is just more powerful. Strand is. Alright. Next up we have Cade. Forsaken. And I think he just has to go in B tier, but I don't think he's the strongest in B tier. There's not a lot of feats from him. Like, he's a legendary gunslinger, right? But there's not a lot of stuff in the lore about what he has done combative wise, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. So don't really feel comfortable putting him above these three. So yeah, I mean he's a great guardian, and he probably has a lot of feats that are just not being told. You could argue him above Saint, but I don't, maybe above Zavala. But yeah, I mean it's kind of tough to choose. Next up, we have Cade during the final shape. I'm gonna put him up in C tier. Debating putting him in B. I might come back to that, mainly because he is completely made out of light. I'm not even sure he can die because he's completely made out of light. So we don't know if he has the ability to resurrect when he was in this kind of form, I guess you could say, when he was just pure light. Like he was the same thing as a ghost. So I guess technically he could die. So maybe we'll keep him in C. But we just also don't have a lot of feats from him. So kind of tough to even put him in C. But I'm going to put him in C just for the fact that we don't know what he could have done in that form. We didn't get enough time with it before he sacrificed himself. So put him there. Obviously, Cade with a ghost is way stronger than Cade possibly being mortal in this point. So yeah, I mean, there's that. We have Lord Saladin next. I'm going to put him above Cade just because he has a lot of feats. In fact, I don't think he's better than Saint 14. I do think he's better than... I might put Zavala here, to be fair. Because Saint is also a legendary titan. He has a lot of feats. Yeah, I think we're going to go with that. I think Saladin's in the middle. He has a lot of in-lore feats that we know of. We obviously have seen him fight. And he is also now a part of Kaido's war council. So he's got a lot of power in just his political position because he's part of the tower and he's part of Kaido's war council. So he is not only strong politically, but he is also very strong physically. He has his ghost still. He is a Iron Lord of the past, which we all know are incredibly tough. But speaking of Iron Lords and being tough, we have our next A tier character, which is Shaxx. So I'm going to put Ikora above him because Shaxx, I don't think, is as strong as Ikora. However, Shaxx is incredibly broken. And again, this is another character where if you don't agree with me, sorry, you don't know ball. Shaxx is broken. He was a warlord during the time of the Iron Lords and Warlords, and he basically could not be beaten. Like, he had to be asked to come to the tower. Like, I think it was. I don't think it was to become an Iron Lord. I think he was. He was also really, really good to his people, as what I read in the lore. So we also have that. Yeah, Shaxx is just really strong, and he deserves to be in the A tier. Next up is Crow. I'm gonna be completely honest, we don't have a lot of feats from him. And I am gonna probably put him above Final Shape Cade. In fact, actually, he lost the Final Shape Cade. Cade's gonna go above Crow. Crow might be borderline D tier. The only reason he's in C tier is because he does have a ghost. I mean, that's really it. The only feat I can even think of in both the lore and game was that he held off the witness when they were escaping. All I can really think of. Obviously, he is the Hunter Vanguard now. I don't know if they said that officially, but I mean, he has the gear on, and he is treated as such, so he's Hunter Vanguard. I don't know. There's not much really to say. Next up, we have Ana Bray. She is probably above Zavala. She is part of the fire team that Shaxx led during Twilight Gap that held the wall. She obviously had that infamous golden gun that was very, very bright. And she's actually a very strong character. We just don't get to see her enough. Unfortunately, they don't like to write her into things, which sucks because I think she's a very, very strong hunter. And I know some people say she should have been Hunter Vanguard. She would not have wanted to be Hunter Vanguard. So, sorry to everyone who wanted Ana Bray to be a Hunter Vanguard. She was not going to want to do that. All right, next up we have these three. Micah 10, I'm just going to throw an E tier. This is the character I was thinking of purely based on the fact that we have no feats from her or from them. And I mean, yeah, they are really there to help us with ghosts. They are part of the 6 coyotes, which their main thing is guiding lost ghosts. So, I mean, I don't know really much else about the 6 coyotes. We don't know their feats or how much Micah 10 played a part in their feats. So they are just going to go to E tier for now. Maybe we'll get some expanded lore on them, and maybe we'll see, you know, just how strong they are. They can commune with the Traveler and their memories. So there is that, but unfortunately that's not super strong of a power. Eris. D is basically the lightless territory. Pretty sure she can use stasis. She did use it in Beyond Light, one of the cinematics. That is canon. So I'm pretty sure she can use it. She just really doesn't. And I'm also not 100% sure if she can use Durand or not. Sorry. So yeah, I'm going to put her bottom of the list because I'm pretty sure she can only use stasis. She doesn't really use it. She's also not a big fighter. So that immediately gives Zavala the advantage. Eris Morn, Hive God of Vengeance. This one is going to be so difficult because she is technically more powerful than Xivu Arath in this form. I think she's going to go up here. I want to put her in A, but it's very difficult to put her in the same tier as Ikora and Shaxx. They have way more feats. Their strength is insane. And yeah, I might even put her top of B, just for the fact that I don't think any of these Guardians can hang with or single-handedly hang with a Hive God that is stronger than Xivu Arath. On par probably with Savathun. I don't remember if they said that. She's stronger than Xivu Arath. So I don't think any of these 5, 6 Guardians with their ghost and their light have a chance. Ooh, my fault. Grab my water bottle. Have a chance really against Eris Morn when she's in this state. Unfortunately, she did not last long in this state, but the fact that she severed Xivu Arath's connection to her throne world is a lot. It does take a lot to do that. We did it with Oryx, we did it with Savathun, and we're up here. So B, I think, is being very lenient, possibly even being unfair to the Hive God of Vengeance. But I don't feel comfortable putting her up with these two because their feats are just insane. So I think that is the finished list, to be completely honest with you guys. I plan on doing more like maybe like deep lore characters, Dredge and Yor, Shinmuffer, those guys, all the Vault of Glass team. Eris Morn will probably make her way. Some of these characters will probably make their way into it, but yeah. I want to do some more of these. This is my Destiny 2 current Guardian power ranking or power scaling. So you guys can thank JJK for giving me the ideas for doing this, because I've been addicted to that and I've seen a lot of those on the internet and I wanted to do one for my favorite franchise. So hope you guys enjoy the video. I got more coming. Peace.